something that's not perfect to you could be perfect to them. That's a big killer. It really is a big killer, and I see myself do that all the time. But it might be perfect to you. This video might be perfect to you, but that's your opinion. That's not my opinion. Okay, we are live. We are live, people, and welcome back to the Ricky2ra podcast, episode 84. I'm 100% sure this time it's episode 84, because I said that last week and it was 83, but I'm sure this is 84 this time. So yeah, welcome back, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. If you are a returning viewer and also a magician, I hope you enjoyed Blackpool Magic Convention that happened this past week. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good time there. Unfortunately, I did not go this year, but it's something that I definitely want to go to next year. So yeah, do you know what? Let's just get straight into this week's episode, because this is probably one of the top things that I suffer from as well. Even though the title says the one thing that kills your magic for you, it also does that for myself. I'm still learning to it to this day. And that one thing, people, is perfectionism. Now, this can really be applied to anything. I say this every episode, it doesn't have to just be applied to magic, but, I am a magician at the end of the day, and this goes into the creativity aspect and the performance aspect, any aspect really. But yeah, perfectionism is a killer, and it can kill your magic. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean that you can never be perfect. You can never perfect something. Even if you're trying to practice something, there's only so much you can do until you actually go out and perform it. So you can perfect, and I put that in quotation marks, perfect. You can perfect something all you want in your bedroom if you're practicing something, but you're going to be there for God knows how long. I've been there and done that myself. So perfectionism doesn't exist. Practice makes, quotation marks, perfect, question mark. Does it? I believe performance makes improvement. I don't believe that really simple basic quote of practice makes perfect. And I know there's another quote, perfect practice makes perfect. You've got to learn something correctly. I'll give you that, but you can't do something perfect, because there's always going to be something there to improve on. So yeah, that's what I think, first of all, about perfectionism. It doesn't really exist. It's different for everybody. Now, like myself, I try and put stuff out as soon as I can now, and even to this day I still hold back on a lot of stuff, because when I watch something back that I've created, for example, I look at it and I go, oh, I could have done this better, or I can edit this a little better. And really what you should do, and what I should do, is just put it out there and just let everybody else judge it, because once you put it out there, it's kind of like it's not yours anymore, it's for everybody else to see. So really, quotation marks, I'm going to be saying this a lot, guys, perfect is what you show to the world, and they judge it and let you know. And something that's not perfect to you could be perfect to them, if you know what I mean. So with magic, it's an always improving game. Like, you're never going to be perfect at magic. Nobody's perfect at magic. David Blaine's not perfect, Dynamo's not perfect, Troy's not perfect, Penn and Teller's not perfect, Paul Daniels isn't perfect. Do you know what I mean? Do you know where I'm going with this? It's your ability to improve your magic. That's where the perfect comes from. And like I said, you never know if it's perfect, because the downfalls of trying to make it perfect is you're never actually going to show the world. So you're going to do the actual complete opposite, because with myself, I've got so many videos, like magic videos, that I've never released because I didn't think they were perfect. And I can go in this cycle, and I probably will repeat myself during this episode because it's a cycle, really. It's kind of practice, create, and then you want to publish, but it's kind of like practice, create, and procrastination, and it repeats. You don't actually publish it or upload it or perform it. So I've got a load of videos that I haven't released, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm sure, if there's any magicians watching here, you probably maybe have an effect you've practiced for a long time and you just feel like it's not ready. I'm doing that in quotation marks as well, when really you should practice it for the amount of time that you feel like's right. I always say 20 days. I talk about that in my 2024 Magic Formula video. And then just perform it as soon as possible. But there's a lot of people like myself, a lot of magicians like myself, that kind of try and not go out and perform it and just try and, record themselves in the bedroom or in the studio. And it's like, it's not ready, it's not ready, it's not ready, it's not ready. And you're just going to go in that cycle that I was talking about. And you're never actually going to go and perform it. And let's say you do. How do you know that's going to be perfect on your first go or your second go? Do you know what I mean? There's so many grey areas for this where it's kind of like what ifs. Like, I can go in so many different directions with this, but you kind of get the overall point I'm trying to make. It doesn't exist. This is what I'm saying. It kills your magic if you let it exist. And this is actually, it's funny because I've got my notes here and I'm just talking to you guys like I know you guys, but it's like this. It's like, if you let it exist, it's going to kill your magic. But if you forget about it, your magic just naturally thrives. It's crazy, because it's kind of like, do you remember magicians performing your first magic trick? That wasn't perfect, was it? You might have practiced for hours, but you were just a beginner back then, so obviously you had to practice for hours. But when you performed it, whether it went right or wrong, you still did it. You beat perfectionism. Do you know what I mean? Because perfectionism, like I said, it doesn't exist. It's never going to be perfect. So even if it did work, it's not perfect. Even if it went wrong, it's not perfect. Do you get what I'm saying here? It's crazy, man. I'm still getting my head around this. But anyway, back to the notes. Something with magic is that it's always evolving. So you're always going to change something anyway. So let's say you do so happen to get it perfect, but then you'd perform in it, but then eventually you'll just get bored of it and you want to kind of update it, and then you're just going through that same cycle again. So like I said, it's always evolving. So let's say you've got an ambitious card routine. I'm being very thorough and narrow now. This is for the magicians out there. Let's say you've got an ambitious card routine. You're performing it. You've performed it hundreds, thousands of times. You've done so many events, performances, whatever. And you kind of now, you can do it with your eyes closed, and it's like, okay, it's perfected. But is it? Could I add something new to it? Could I evolve it? Could I make it appear in a wallet? Could I make it spring out of the pack somehow, or visually make it rise to the top? There's so many things that I can say about this, but like I said, it's evolving, and when things evolve, it's never going to be perfect. It's just like yourself. You're always going to improve yourself. You're not just going to stay at one point in your life and be like, yep, it's perfect. So that's a big killer. It really is a big killer, and I see myself do that all the time. And at one point, I just didn't really give a crap. And this was in the 2020 and 2021 period in my life, where I just absolutely just wanted to create as much content as possible. And I guarantee you, a good 80 to 90% of that was not perfect. That's coming from somebody that likes to be perfect in, the content that I create. And this, like I said, this is like a video to myself, but I hope it does help whoever's watching and listening to this as well, because it's one of them things where, I direct this to magicians, but it could be anything in life. And if you keep waiting and waiting for it to be perfect, it's never actually going to happen on your time. Whereas if you take control of it and actually just publish it, perform it, upload it online, you can just move on to the next thing, and you can do even better from that. So you can always improve. There's no perfection. Like I said, I've said that about 1 million times. Perform, and you will see how perfect it is. That's right. This is like for the magicians that perform their magic tricks live. I've been there. It's one of them things. It's a bit nerve-wracking, and I've done this before, and I think I've said this very, very more descriptive in my one thing I struggle with magic video. It's one of them things where I struggle to perform new effects because I'm so used to just performing the same routine over and over again in the same set. Whereas if you break out of that and actually perform the new thing that you've been working on, that can just be like your old set, and you can kind of evolve on there, and that can be like your set then, your set that you were holding back before. So let me explain that in simple terms. So you have your old set, like your old set that you're so used to performing, and then you've got your new set. But if you don't perform your new set, your old set's always going to be the comfort zone. But if you do perform your new set of a few tricks, that will become your new old set, if you know what I mean, and that will be the thing that you're used to doing, but you've got more of a refresh in your mind, like this is something new, but I'm used to it now, but it's still exciting because I've not performed it thousands of times. That's basically what I'm saying. But you've got to get over that fear of it's not perfect enough to perform. That is what I'm trying to say. So with creation, you strive to get better at each video. So with content creation with magic, doing like your socials, so you get better each video effect rather than waiting for it to be perfect. Like I said before with the videos, I've held back. I still really want to upload them at one point as well. And like I said, I'm a perfectionist, and it doesn't help because there's possible gems that I've kept hidden because I didn't think it was perfect. So that could be applied to any of you out there watching or listening. You might be sat on some badass video or effect that you have not uploaded or performed, and you don't even know it because you think it's not perfect or it's not ready. I've heard that. I've said that to myself so many times. It's not ready. But yeah, you don't actually realise until you, like I said at the beginning of the episode, until you actually send it to the world, perform it to the world. It's crazy. It's so simple to say, but it's so hard to do because it's your mind. And it's kind of like us magicians, we want to be the best performer that we can be, the best video magician, content creation uploader, whatever you want to call it, we want to be. But in order to do that, you've got to go through all these new processes, and you've got to get past that. And it's funny because I did get past that, and then I've dropped back into it again, and I'm slowly getting out there again. Just like with these podcast episodes, like my first one back was not perfect. I didn't have any notes or anything like that, but here I am. I've got notes and I've learnt from that. And yet again, this isn't perfect, but it might be perfect to you. This video might be perfect to you, but that's your opinion. That's not my opinion. Maybe I could do something a bit better. But bringing this all back to magic, it's like your effect, it might not be perfect to you, but for your spectator, it's probably the most perfect, amazing thing that they have ever seen in their entire life. And you're probably thinking like, whoa, really? Was it? And they're like, oh God, like that was crazy. You blew my mind there, man. Like I said, it's for the world to judge, not to you. And listen, if it was crap, right, because I've put out some crap videos in my time, then it's crap. You just move on. It's one of them things. And then you're like, well, I thought it was perfect, but it's not perfect. Let's do a bit better on the next one. Do you know what I mean? It's just one of them things. So yeah, like I said, perfectionism doesn't exist. If you take one thing away from this video, and I know it's probably like for the people that are watching this, and it's like, well, Ricky, I like to do the best videos, and I try and like get it down to a T within the millisecond, so I don't flash something. And it's like, cool, man, but is that like your first video ever, or have you done like 1,000, 100,000 videos, and it's like you've got to that point? Because if you haven't, and it's like your first like 20 to 100 videos, does it really matter? Like, I understand you don't want to flash any cards or gimmicks and stuff in your video, but are you really going to learn from something that you've not done or failed at? Do you get what I'm coming from? So yeah, that's my perspective on perfectionism. You know, it can really kill your magic for the magicians out there, and I have been a one for that as well. It's weird because I've been in and out of it. For the magicians that are watching, or anybody really, it can be, like I said, it can be applied to anything. Have you experienced anything what I've just said? If so, let me know in the comments below. It's very interesting because I think it just as humans in general, we're just conditioned to just everything like to be like correct the first time round. Maybe I'm wrong there. It's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But really what we should strive for is just improving every little bit rather than taking like a massive step up and falling, you know, which there's nothing wrong with, but if we take little steps going up, we can get there further rather than trying to jump the wall. We can build the ladder and slowly get there. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this week's episode, really. It was on my mind, really, perfectionism, and there was actually, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, and I don't normally talk about stuff about this, but it goes well with the actual topic. I had a video. Now, which video was this? This was... I think it was... No, I'm going to talk about something different now. It's just popped up in my mind. I have a video which I'm going to slowly release on my Instagram and maybe TikTok as well. And I was editing it yesterday, in fact. And I was looking at it. And it was here in the shop. And I did a load of takes, as you do. And each take I looked back at, I was like, you know what? We can do a bit better. Maybe I flashed there a bit. But then when I looked at the last take, I was like, you know what? That's pretty good, that. So I go up and I edit it. And I watch it back. I've finished it. It's finished. It's ready. I can upload it now if I want. But I look back at it on my phone. And I'm like, you know what? I could maybe adjust the gimmick a little bit. And then I'm making a video like this, and I'm writing my notes down, and I'm like, perfectionism doesn't really exist. It's just what you show to the world, and the world will tell you. So yeah, with this video, I'm just going to upload it. I'm just going to see what happens, because I really do want to reshoot it and everything, but it's kind of like I've done it, and it's like, why should I just waste a bit more time to do the gimmick and stuff and make it look a tiny bit better? I'm just going to upload it. So that's an exclusive example right there. But yeah, let me know if there's anything there that was of any value in this episode. I hope that I did create any value for you. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna call it a day from here. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Just a quick one, actually, before we end this episode. I want to give a shout out to some new subscribers. So yeah, shout outs to you. If you're watching this by any chance, the new subscribers, thank you very much. I really do appreciate the subscription, and I hope there was a reason for you to subscribing. If you caught a video or a short, I hope it provided you any value. So shout outs to Harry Luley. I'm sorry if I butchered your surname there, Harry, but shout-outs to you. And shout-outs to the Magic Buzz as well. I really do appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. I hope, you know, it's of any value. And if you made it to this point in the video where you heard your name and subscribed, I really do appreciate you as well. Thank you for the support. And this is going to be funny since we're on the end of this episode. You know, probably half of you or majority of you have clicked off. Callum Gamble, I was talking to you the other day, mate. There was a reason why I look up like this sometimes, right? And I haven't done it in this episode, but I normally do that sometimes because I've got the camera there. And I've told you this as well, but it's just funny that I'm going to just say it in this episode. I might just edit this out, I might not. But yeah, I look up on the camera sometimes because I know sometimes I have customers waiting outside in the shop, outside the shop, so sometimes I just have a bit of a wonder like that, so that's why I turn so sharply. And I know you said it looks like I've seen a ghost, but for any other viewers as well, if you made it to this point of the video, I'm just looking at a TV up there, man. It's not in shot, so don't worry, I'm not going crazy. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode. I will see you guys next week, so peace, stay strong, and remember, always follow your dreams.